Hi guys, it's Friday, time for an FLC Youth devotion. And today we're going to start a 7-week devotion series that's called Where Your Heart Is. This series is going to take us through the entire season of Lent as we prepare our hearts and minds to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Lent just began on Wednesday. Ash Wednesday was February 17th. So this is our first devotion, and today's devotion is entitled Storing Up Treasures. So first I'm going to read from the book of Matthew, chapter 6. Don't store treasures for yourselves here on earth, where moths and rust will destroy them, and thieves can break in and steal them. But store your treasures in heaven, where they cannot be destroyed by moths or rust, and where thieves cannot break in and steal them. Your heart will be where your treasure is. So a couple months ago, my computer's hard drive crashed. And this week I learned that none of the information on that hard drive can be recovered. I gotta be honest with you, the guy called me while I was checking out at Walmart and I started to cry. I could not stop thinking about everything that was on that hard drive, all the time that I had spent developing all the documents, all of the photos that were there. I realized that all the names and addresses for Emma's graduation party were gone. All the documents I'd created in 4 years here at First Lutheran were gone. I remembered all the youth group photos and the videos that were lost. Pieces of my heart, pieces of my past and my work were all gone. Now, what I lost wasn't actual tangible things that I could hold, but it's kind of the same idea that Jesus is talking about in these verses. When he mentions moths and rust, that's reminding us that our things and our stuff are always vulnerable to natural and human forces, unintentional waste, possible destruction. You know, people have house fires, people's cars get stolen with items in them, thieves come and steal things from homes, weather damage, you know, people have suffered from floods recently. All those things are possible, and our stuff is susceptible to all those things. And my files are susceptible to a crashed hard drive. It just happens. Now, if our hearts are wrapped around our stuff, if we find our treasure in what is easily damaged or taken from us, what becomes of our hearts? So there's two parable scholars, Bernard Brandon Scott and John Dominic Crossan, and they suggest that Jesus uses images like the moths and the rust and the thieves, not to answer questions, but to help us start conversations. Meaning, if we read or hear this story about not storing things on earth, but in heaven, we may turn to each other and say, wait, what? And that's precisely what Jesus wanted to happen. His aim was not to tell people what to do, but to invite us to think in different ways, to question things and ask why, and to wonder about how we might participate in making our world more like what God intended it to be. So maybe the warning about storing up treasures on earth is pretty clear. That theme reappears in several of Jesus' teachings, even other stories that we're going to have in this devotional. And we get caught when we commit ourselves to our stuff. And that is a very common thing in today's society because stuff has become so important to so many of us. We accumulate, we get as much stuff as we can. We obsess. We have to have more and more and more stuff. And we turn away from the needs of our neighbors all around us when we are stockpiling all of our stuff in our own houses. But God encourages us to store up treasures in heaven. And he encourages us to wonder, what does that mean? And he wants us to ask, wait, what? So when I think about this instruction from Jesus to concentrate on the kinds of treasures that thieves can't break in and steal, I know that's not really a reminder to keep all the old photos. Or I'm sorry, I know it's not really a reminder to not keep all those photos or all those old registration forms that I created or all the addresses on my computer. And it's not for me to not keep my stuffed animals that were special to me as a child or the quilts that my grandma made. I can replace all those documents that I lost, and I may even be able to make them better. I can still remember all the events that those photos caught that I am now without. I still have those memories. I still have those feelings. All those things come back to me every time I see a person who I was with in those situations. I can still think about my grandma who made all those quilts. Those memories and those feelings are in my heart, whether I have the quilt in my hand or not. It's what those things point to that is important. It's not the actual thing. It's what that thing does to my heart and my soul. That's what's important. So Jesus' teaching isn't just a warning from one way of living our lives. It's also a call toward another way. It's making a realignment or a redirection of our hopes and our dreams and our attention to maybe direct it a little bit away from those earthly things and more toward those heavenly things, the things that we have in our hearts, the things that are in our souls. Those are the things that we hold on to and we treasure because no one can take them. No one can take them from our hearts and our souls. As we journey through Lent this season, as we ponder the treasures in our lives and where those treasures are at, maybe we will find where our heart lies as well. That's it for today. So this week, I just encourage you to think about your treasures. Are they here or are they stacked up and piled up and in bags and in boxes in your house or in your car or in a storage unit? Think about that and think about whether some of your treasures would be important in someone else's life. Think about maybe making a donation to a thrift store or bringing a donation here to the church for youth emergency services, because truly our treasures lie right here. I love you all and I hope to see you soon. Just a reminder that we do have in-person worship now on Saturday nights at 6 o'clock and Sunday mornings at 9:30. And we are going to have in-person youth group this Sunday. We're trying a different time, 4 o'clock in the youth room downstairs. We're just trying it out. This time we're just gonna hang out, visit, and maybe play some ping pong, maybe play some Wii, just have some time together. So everybody take care and enjoy this gorgeous weather. Love you all.